your business right now is improving at such an amazing rate by just staying in. Does that make sense to everybody? It makes sense when I talk about market share, because I can tell you that people, well, you know it. I'm not even telling you anymore. People are freaking out right now. And what do people do when they freak out? They make bad decisions, really bad decisions. A lot of decisions that people are going to make is, this is a faulty thought, is this market is awful. It's always going to be awful. My pipeline's this, I'm out. Bank tellers have it so good. They get 40,000 bucks. They just have to come in and I'm going to go be a bank teller. I'm not kidding. That's the thoughts. And if you guys get any of those thoughts too, like that's, when you start romanticizing the $80,000 salary job, that must sound so great because they just make that and they have that. That's when you start going, uh-oh, that's the dangerous thought right now. Here's the upside. This is what happens. Okay. So you guys are all super smart people. So you'll follow this right now. You guys now are staying in and you're building books of business right now at, let's call it 5.5, whatever the rates are. I'm not entirely sure, but you're building rates at 5.5. Rates do not move up on an upward trend and a straight line upward trend. They move up like this. Right? So what happens is the rates will go up. Rates will go up, rates will go up. There's a point in time where it's going to go up too high and you guys are still going to get business, and we've overshot it, right? The bond market's overshot right now and it can't sustain the housing prices. So the rates will start going back down. And so even in upward trending markets, it's going to come back down. Well, now you guys, especially the people that have the high loan amounts, you can do no cost refis for these people. And you're the first in. You've just done business for them. You're building a business here. So the orientation, the first thing to look at right now, I'm literally not kidding. I was in the car with my wife yesterday, and I'm like, God, I love this market. They're like, this is, like right now is the only time since I've been out that I'm like, oh man, I wish if I was getting back in, it'd be right now, because this is where you're building that. A database of people in the 5s, right? Building a database in the 3.5s, your lifetime value in that client's a lot lower. Does that make sense to everybody? So right now I'm like, oh my God, I'd be building a database of 5.5. And I think like a business guy, I'm like, so it'll go up and it's 6.5, whatever. But then there's going to be some downward trend right now where I'll have a double, triple, be able to double, triple income without any extra work like that. Does that make sense? So I get really, really psyched. So for me, my mindset, if I'm in this, I'm at a 10 plus in such a huge way because of that. Because I know how everybody else is. I know the fear that everybody's in. I know that the only time you make money ever is when there's fear in a market. Make big money, real money. Does that make sense? So you don't make money when the stock market's just always going up. And the stock market's great. Okay, now I'm going to invest. No, you make money when it's like, the stock market's awful. It's always going to go down. Oh, cool. So you have to be a contrarian in business to really make big leaps. Does that make sense, everybody? So that's why one of the big reasons I'm at a 10 plus right now. This is where all the work gets done. Not that you guys care about me right now, but for me, I have this I want to be the best mortgage coach that I can be. I want to change the industry. I want to help so many people change their businesses. And this right now, even for me, when I look out at this, I'm like, oh, this is awesome, because there's all these little coaching things popping up and companies have coaching, right? Like all this stuff. And I'm like, they won't make it by here if they don't have these kind of messages. They're not going to do it. So I love these markets and everything, but I don't get focused on short term. I don't get focused on anything short term. Everything for me is a long play. So I think the biggest thing I can offer you guys on mindset that anybody's not a 10 is this is the best thing that will ever happen to you if you can think about yourself in a 3 to 5 year time frame. Does that make sense? Really fired up in a 3 to 5 year time frame. Does that help, Seth?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
10 right now. Let's just use you as an example. What do we need to shake anything else loose? Forgive yourself for the news thing. Don't watch it. Don't get sucked in.
I'm sitting here. I'm like, I need to stop watching, just like read. and utilize that time that way. Read and develop and all that kind of
totally. Yeah, there's nothing to be gained from anything on the short term. Again, it's just, if you can get it that it's all set up just to suck you in. It's all set up just to suck you in. Don't get sucked in. Don't get sucked in.
It's so funny that you're saying that, and I'll stop after this. But like you do, it's like you just it's like an addiction.
It's a total addiction, and it's done on. It's an addiction done on purpose from very smart news media executives that understand the human brain better than anybody else. It's absolutely done on purpose. So once you know that, then it's like any time. I mean, it's fine to check. Okay, what's going on, right? Like something happened, whatever. But to get sucked in, to start really analyzing it, and then you start thinking about your aunt and why she's on the other side politically and why she's wrong because of this, and then you start forwarding that article on this. I mean, dude, you are like literally, you have been sucked in right now. That's the game. That's the game. And if you get sucked into that game, man, it is only impacting you. And that game's set up to keep us not successful, right? So now that you know that, you can make a good decision on it, right? Cool. So Seth, you feel better? You feel like you can say 10 plus? You get that right now that you're not only whatever you guys are closing each month, you're building a business right now by staying in. Does that make sense? Is that a good reason to be a 10 plus right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's super fired up about 3 to 5 years. This is the best thing that's happened to you guys. You guys save this time right now. Hopefully you guys are still in 2020, 2021. You're going to be like, oh, this is awesome. Cool. Who else right now? So Seth, thanks for playing along, my friend. So let's see who. So Ryan Colbert said I sometimes watch media. We discussed that. Let's talk about that, Jill Satterfield. Getting to a 10 for me just means staying consistent on a Wednesday for me. But let's talk about your mindset. Let's see if we can get that. How is that related to a mindset issue for you?
Because if I'm reaching out to my realtors on Wednesdays, then I'm still in control.
You're still what?
I'm still in control.
Yes. Yeah, the power, guys, right now. Okay, this is a big one too, so I want you guys to check yourself down. I appreciate you bringing that up, Joe. The power is in the action right now.
Yeah.
The weakness right now is the thinking about the action or analyzing the action. Does that make sense? Jana looked at me like I'm got 17 heads right there. Does that make sense, Jana? I know she loves it when I say that. Okay, so that right now the power is in the action, not thinking about the action. So check your guys' self down real quick right now. How many hours do you think you work a week? How many hours do you think that you think about working each week? How many hours do you work a week? How many hours do you think about working a week? Which, let me just help you guys out. Mindset reason. Thinking about working takes the exact same amount of energy as working. So you will feel tired at the end of the day, even though you went to work and watched CNN or Fox or whatever you guys like and analyzed why that the rates are going up and then right? You will feel just as tired thinking about working as working. So let's see it in the box right now. How many hours a week do you guys work? And then how many hours do you think about working? 35 working, 38 thinking about it, Janus. Right? So this is what I'd love for you to
total.
do. I know. Oh, okay. So
total.
3. Okay. Only 3 is not bad.
I know. Do you I went through all the different cycles.
Yeah.
Share what I did through 8 and 11 and 14 and all that?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Okay. So in 8, so many of our friends, if you were in the business, so many of our friends didn't make it and they were doing things. And we just kept on, my husband and I just kept on figuring out what it was that would make us get there. Mm-hmm. And we were fine. So that for markets like this, that gives me like the most confidence ever.
Absolutely.
11 was a building. 14, I increased 40% in 14 from the previous year.
That's
So
not normal.
guys, this is an amazing, Deryck's right, it's an amazing way to be able to build a business at this time.
It's unbelievable. I get, as I say, like, my wife's like, man, you're weird. Because, I mean, literally yesterday I was like, and bouncing off the wall. I'm like, I love this. This is what I love this, because it's professionals. This is when the professionals thrive. Any imposters are out right now. You guys are professionals. So this is where all those little quick, easy money lead. I've got a Facebook ad funnel. Woohoo, look at me. I'm so awesome. Right? Like, that's when all those people are out. They are out. They are in monster pain right now. Talking to Aaron Crossley the other day is, I don't, that gets proprietary, but he knows somebody that was a really big producer that bought a lot of Zillow ads. And I think that person is down 80 to 90%. I don't remember exactly what you said, but it was something gargantuan. If it's proprietary, you don't need to say name or companies or anything, but what was that number? Oh, you're muted. You're muted. Is anybody else here now? Nobody else here now? We're not hearing you. Well, then maybe in the chat box, just put it. Yeah, correct me in the chat box. My memory was somebody was in the, like, literally, I think it was way bigger than 100 million. I think that you said somewhere in the 200 to 300 million range with a Zillow ad platform, and then was now down to 80% less. So correct me, whatever the exact numbers are, because I don't remember, but it was something where I was like, whoa. So it's nothing against that person. I don't wish that person bad. It's just that the reality is the stuff that you guys are doing is the only model. This is why I get excited. It's the only model that survives during these times and can thrive. The relationship referral models. It's the only model. Okay, so Aaron said it like this. Yeah, you got it right. Their team was consistently doing 10 million each month, and now they aren't even doing 2 million each month, and they have to let their team go. Okay, so this is the Zillow lead model. And I'm hearing it all over the place too on the Facebook ad lead models, where they build these intricate long funnels and they got Facebook bots doing all this stuff. If you guys get sucked into all that, and the ad costs on Facebook have gone up so much right now. And then the ad, like, whether a lead is from Facebook or Zillow or Lending Tree, it's an internet lead. And that's what they leave out. Internet lead has a lot harder ramp up time to create into a relationship so that you can get deals out of it. So all those lead models, they go away right now, or they have to be so good. So that's another reason why I love this time. Let's go to this. Chrissy Hardy says 35 and think about it almost every minute of the day. Cool. Chrissy, let's talk to you. What are you thinking about? So you work 35, and then what are you thinking about every minute of the day?
Just how I can improve. Like,
okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't stress me out, but I mean, I think of, like, I'm just constantly thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, you name it. Thinking about coaching, thinking about Facebook things I could do, thinking about different strategies. Like right now, I'm actually like, my mindset is really positive. I would say
I
I'm
don't
probably
hear anything bad about that.
Yeah, I'm really happy. Like, I enjoy thinking about it. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, that's a different thinking about it. Like,
mm-hmm.
So let me just qualify that. Like, when I mean the bad is if it was I work 35, but I spend 15 thinking about exactly what I should say to that realtor and analyzing it over and over. And then, or like, okay, so I've got this video idea, and if I do this and I get this and did it, like Jonathan Wilson's a master at it, but like if you spend too much time on, should I have a green hat or a red hat? And then if I do this, and then if I do this, right? And so even Jonathan, you have to check yourself down on that too, that it's not too much that's taking you out of action. That's what I'm talking about. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I do that some though. I do, like, I want to create some, mastermind groups with my agents, and I think about it, and then I haven't put it into action. So then I think, well, why haven't I put it into action? Who do I want to invite? Well, I want to do it the best way. And I am over analyzing things in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're all ways to, they're all ideas. I'm just sort of like processing ideas right now. And it's slow. Like, my team is like doing everything. So I feel more pressure to bring in more business, and so that's where my mindset goes from a 10 down to an 8, maybe, because I'm like, I need to bring in more business.
Yeah. And so what a great time that this gives you the time to go create more relationships, because when it shifts, this is where you go up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to Eric Zanatelli the other day about this. And Eric, if you don't mind me sharing a little bit about the conversation, as people get in longer, I get more and more real with them. And I'm like, Eric, you are awesome, but you get the squirrels in your head. He gets around everybody and he's like, that's a great idea. And 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 I should. And like, how do we do this? So the conversation I had with him is I really just held a hard line with him. Is like, you need to pick, and then you need to be an expert at that. And then you need to go do that. And I saw a huge shift. I think that's why he says 10 plus right now, a huge shift, because he had this idea and this idea. And then it's like, okay, this is what we're doing. Okay, cool. We're doing that. Sometimes it's going to work. Sometimes it's not going to work, but you're going to do that and become an expert at that. And that's your model right now. And then go do that model and be awesome at that model. Then you get clarity. Eric, do you want to add anything to that?
No, just, I mean, I'm really thankful that you took the stance you did, and the clarity. The clarity is freeing. And while we're slower than we have been, earlier in the year, we're just building, and just having a blast. So things are good.
Cool. So let's do that collectively as a group right now. What is your strategy? Okay. I hope everybody uses it, but it's not an ego thing. And don't be like, it's the DC system. I got it. Like, okay. The DC system is a system that is awesome and will get you a lot of business over time right now. If you're going to add something else into it, and that's what Eric was talking about, right? When we want to add our own flares to it, where you want to add in, your own creativity. That's what everybody wants to do and should do. Does that make sense? So what is it? What is yours? What is yours right now? What are you going to do extra? What are you doing on top of that? What's your flair? What's who you are? What are you committing to? What decision are you making that you're going to do on top of that you're going to commit to, that you're going to be the best at? I'll give you an example. So what Eric was saying is, Eric, do you mind us saying what yours is? I don't think you ever.
No, I was actually typing it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Say it. Yeah. Say it. So that
basically,
like, what are you talking about, man?
I've just decided I'm going to do a systematic presentation model where we're getting in front of realtors in a calculated and systematic way on a regular basis, whether it be teams, whether it be whole offices, or whether it be individual realtors, with the presentation, and offer a call to action to where I actually will give those people a 30-minute one-on-one time to go over their social media stuff with them and talk and show them the things that I've been doing that made social media so successful for me. And I'm just super jazzed about it.
It's kind of it's an offshoot of like what we do. So what we do the Deryck Cheney system Monday through Thursday, but then I also give presentations. A lot of you guys have seen a presentation. That's how most of you guys got in, right? So that's what we do on the side, and we have systems for that. We have, what do I say on that? What's the call to action at the end? If you guys have been in anything, and that pulls people in. So he's using a lot of that and building that on the side. So he's taking Wednesday and he's going, man, I'm going to get 30 units a month. It's happening right now. So I need to turbocharge Wednesday. And then how do I turbocharge Wednesday? I'm going to do 20 presentations. I think it was 20. Is that what you said? 20 presentations a year? 22?
20 to 22, yeah, is the goal. And we're going to do that in 2019, unless we find out in June that we're too busy and we have to stop for a little bit till we get more people ramped up for the production.
Yeah, and it's already been super successful.
Correct.
So again, that's what I'm kind of talking about, is what are you going to do? What are you doing extra? What's your creative thing? What's the thing that you're doing on top of that to really blow this out that you're going to be world class at, that you're going to be known for? What is that? This is the time in here to establish those type of things, because you guys are the big leaguers. You guys are already successful, right? Like you're at a place where so many people aspire to get to. So for you guys to get to the next level, this is where you have to really up level now. I don't think Jenny's on, but she started a VIP database program, VIP for her clients. That's outstanding. All right, Seth. And I would even let's talk about that, because you like this stuff, Seth, real quick. I would even take it to another level. I want to serve people, and I would leave it right there. But you can only do business with people that value you as the ultimate professional. Does that make sense? Where's Seth?
Yeah.
So I go out and do presentations, and we love it, and I love it because I get to serve. Well, you were there. You were at one of them. You're in Indiana, right? So yeah, perfect example. I love doing that, right? I get to go out and serve your whole company, right? And did a whole presentation. Out of that presentation, I don't remember, but maybe 2 or 3 people became clients. Those are the people that I can only serve, like continually serve, that value me as a professional right now. But I don't, like, you have to go out. This is a key shift, is you have to go out and serve, but then you have to have the boundaries set up, and you have to be very firm on what you can and do. This is how we do it here, right? And then you just value that, but you keep in lead generation mode, but then setting up the boundaries so that the right people come into your business, and then you have database and relationship with the right people. A question we get a lot is like, man, why is everybody so awesome here? I'm like, that's on purpose. That was absolutely intentional and on purpose. We know exactly who we serve. We know exactly the kind of people that we want to serve. But the process to get that is getting out there, doing all the stuff. But then when you get down to, hey, if they're a client or not, like, it's not a sale. It's like, hey, is this right? This is what we can do. This is who we're looking for. And this is who we can serve. It's not for everybody. It's a key shift for anybody going to level 3 too, is it's one of the last shifts for you guys to make, is being totally okay, knowing who you serve, and being completely in your power, and being absolutely in abundance, that if that person gives you the runaround, that you're absolutely okay saying they're not for me. It's one of the last frontiers for you guys. It takes an absolute abundant mindset. It takes where you really have to get to a point where you're like, you know what? I'm building a business, and I want a database of business of awesome people in here, because other awesome people know other awesome people. And for me to do that, I need to have an air of qualifying. I need to say, this is how we do it here. This is why we do it here. This is the benefit of why we do it here. Absolutely. But here's our process, and this is why we do it here, to best serve you. Yeah, but I just want a rate quote. Awesome. In my day, it was, if rate's the most important to you, I'd go to lendingtree.com. You'll get 10 phone calls in an hour, if that's the most important to you. Now, you might end up doing like, I'm in Virginia, so I'd be like, now you might end up doing a purchase loan with somebody in Oregon. That might or might not get the deal done. But if rate's your big driver, I'm going to recommend going to LendingTree. I think it's changed. I think there's different things now, but I used to say that, and my staff would sit there and be like, no apology. You know what happened? 10% of them went to LendingTree and were like, dude, thanks, I got a low rate. Awesome. 90% were like, well, I did it, and I got all these calls, and it was so annoying. I didn't even understand. And then they forwarded me this stuff. Like, okay, cool. This is how we do it here. This is why we do it here. Only good stuff happens. You either work with the right person and they do it with your boundaries and terms, or they don't, and they don't stay in your database, and because they know other people like them that you don't want to be doing business with. It's one of the last big shifts. But the only way to get there, ready for this? The only way to get there is you got to get out there. And Seth, I don't know if you noticed it when I was speaking, but there was a good 80% of them that were just chomping on nails, like wanting to throw stuff at me. Who is this freaking dude selling snake oil about Facebook? You know, right?
Can I interject here?
You want to tell us some Deryck hater stories? Go ahead.
So many of those people are like now seeing the value, and it's so many people ask me all sorts of stuff all the time, and Dan spoke with one, and he's joined, but it's funny, and like you didn't alter anything about what you did, and here they are coming full circle. Now they're seeing the value in it.
Yeah, because it only comes, this is what I want you guys to hear. It's like, it comes from two things. It comes from, I know exactly who we can serve, right? And I know exactly what we can do, but it also comes from that I'm committed to keep doing presentations so that we keep getting the people. It's not a weird, like when I say Mountain of Tibet thing where you just, oh, I want to attract only Seth Bennett's and I only do Seth Bennett. Seth Bennett, come to me. It's not that. it's Deryck, get on a plane in freaking cold, stinking Indiana in the middle of the winter and go do a presentation. That's what it is. It's not this. So that's why, for all of you guys, I want you guys to get, thicker skin, essentially. Get out there. As they say, like, I know that now, Seth. That's why I know, like, the people that are chomping on nails, like, I'm looking around and I'm like, dude, have these. I mean, there's literally people that are like looking down, talking on their phone while I'm like they don't want any part of that, right? And those things, and I just laugh about that, right? And Eric's going to go through it. Anybody that does presentations, and you just keep going, and you just know it that you'll find the right people, and then over time, you keep building your businesses. So I'm not advocating presentations. I'm advocating that you guys, to get to these, when you're at 10 to 15 units a month, how do you get to 30? There's another level. You have to get really committed to the lead gen side. Does that make sense? Really, really committed to the lead gen side. And that requires being absolutely intentional about the sales and marketing piece. The other shift, we have some people that are in level 3, so I'm talking a little level 3 stuff right now, but it's good for level 2, you guys to hear this too. The other shift is then you have to be okay letting other people do your approvals, letting people do almost everything that you can. And you're really selling the team. So, Seth and Christy Hardy, you're close to, right? You're selling the Christy Hardy team. You're not selling Christy Hardy anymore. Eric Boucher's looking at me like, that's someday.
It's true. It's amazing. Like, I recently have just really within the last 2 months just let the team take over, and it's going great. I mean, better than I could have imagined. I'm like, I feel guilty because I got nothing to do, but like I just said, I've got to really bring in the business now because I feel like my real job is gone. But I just have to shift to my real job.
That's
it's very great. I mean, I'm loving it. But back to what you were just saying about picking and choosing who you want to deal with. We had a client who was really rude to us, like just a jerk, and I just said, you know what, we're not going to let you talk to us that way. If and I really had a lot more power. And sure enough, he came begging back, like crawling with his tail between his legs. Like, I'm so sorry. I usually don't act that way, blah, blah, blah. And it's so rewarding to turn those kind of people around. Mm-hmm. And, he's awesome now. Like, he's so compliant and happy. But anyway, I just want to touch back on that. I thought that was a good point you made about dealing with people you want to deal with. Like, I had total confidence that I didn't want to deal with him if he was going to behave that way.
Totally. Kind of lost where my train was right now. Let's see. Seth, does that kind of help you? Or where you're at right now? I usually went back example on the presentation side is it does like the shifts for where you guys are at right now really do become where you allow your team, you're selling the team, and it's a process. So anybody that's in level 2 right now and you're going, dude, what? And it absolutely is a process. Okay. And there's a lot of young people in here too. You don't have to do that overnight. It is a process. That's why I tell everybody, like, man, don't do level 2 for like 90 days. You do it for years if you want to, till you get comfortable, till you hear this, till you hear other people going through this. And then you go, okay, cool, I'm going to level 3. Well, level 3 is where you really dial it in and you commit, because this is the hardest part. Is to say, this is how we do it here. And then you go, yeah, but I should have done it like this. And if I didn't do it like this, and I did it, it is really hard. I'm telling you, I'm helping people in level 3 right now build this stuff. We had one person, it literally like physically was curled up in a ball. Going, couldn't make the decision on this. And it's like, you got to do it. There was a point in time where McDonald's said, yeah, know what? We're not going to allow them to order their hamburgers medium rare. We're giving them a burger like this. And when they made that shift right there, and they said, should we put the onions on there or not put the onions on there? Should we put the onions on there or not put the onions on there? Somebody finally goes, dude, put the onions on there. Okay. And it's hard, but until they had that, until they could standardize that and then go out, and then you can see them, they got really aggressive on the sales and marketing side. It's the same process for you guys. There's a great movie. I forgot what it's called, but it's on the McDonald's founder. I think it's fantastic for any of you guys where you're at right now in your businesses. Anybody know that movie, the name of it? It's on Ray Kroc and how the McDonald's thing happened. Like, Ray Kroc was literally just a sales and marketing dude. Everybody thinks he's McDonald's. Nope. He was only sales and marketing. He went and found the McDonald brothers that just had a system. These were just two guys, I believe, in like Oklahoma or Kansas or something like that. But they just had a system on hamburgers and they were killing it. And they were the first to just have, this is our system. And then Ray Kroc's like, cool, I can go sell that system.
It's called The Founder. It's on Netflix.
The Founder, yeah. Excellent. There's some holiday required viewing.
Infinitely better than the news.
Infinitely better than the news. You'll learn a lot of good business strategy and principles in that one. And it's entertaining. But it's a lot. It'll give you a why. And it you know, we talk about the E-Myth in here too, level 2 and level 3. The Founder will give you a visual and a movie around like, oh, that's what E-Myth's talking about. And that's how it plays out. Got it. Okay. So that's what we're doing with you guys. It is a process. You didn't build that overnight either. So that's why we're here for you. But cool. Who else? Let me read a couple of these, see if this shakes anything loose. Okay, who else has got something right now? I got a lot in the comments, so I'm not able to see everything or even understand the context. But so who in the chat box right now wants to have just a discussion? Hey, listen, you know what? I have a question around this. I'm stuck around this. I have a challenge around this. Hey, bro, I'm still an 8. After that whole long-winded thing that you just said, I'm still an 8, dude. Hook me up. I want to be a 10 too. And I'm struggling with this, and this is why I'm at 8 and not a 10, and you didn't say a lick of beans to help me out with getting there. There's got to be somebody. Are you raising your hand? Are you raising your hand? Oh, yeah, Aubrey, let's do it. Wait, I'm not hearing you. Are you guys hearing her? Mute? Hold on, Aubrey, we're not hearing you. Let me see if I can unmute.
She's muted.
Comparison?
Go ahead, Aubrey, right? I didn't hear you. I didn't hear.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you
Can
now.
you
I
hear
didn't hear anything up to then yet. Go ahead, sorry.
Hear me?
Yep.
Yeah?
I got you, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. The technology is where I feel like I'm struggling.
Mm.
And it's, I don't know. I it's something I have not mastered, and I'm just not confident with.
Mhm.
And I guess I avoid it too, but I just, I don't know. I guess I feel like I'm getting too old for this business, and sometimes, which is crazy.
You're younger than me.
Like, I'm really good with the people, but I'm just it's the technology. I just feel lost, so lost.
So let's talk through that. What technology specifically?
I don't know. Like, I look at all these people's stuff and I think, man, they've got good content. And it's just the comparison. I think it's,
Mm.
my expectation is a 10. I want to be a 10 in everything. And I know that's not realistic necessarily all the time, but it makes me feel just poorly.
So let's break that down because
And I'm a competitive person, so part of it's ugh.
It is that
Worst.
right now. This is
And-
did you hear me on Monday talking about mastering obsessive? You got the obsessive thing too. I remember Christy Hardy saying it. I got it too.
Yeah.
To overcome that, because this is what I want you to hear is when you came in, I was immediately like, oh, she is going to kill it. Because really, when you get to the heart and soul of what we teach, it doesn't have anything to do with technology. It's who you are.
Yeah.
And you're such an amazing person. And so to overthink anything on a technology place is absolutely not needed. Let me use Jonathan Wilson as an example right now. He has a natural God-given talent for picking up an app and figuring out how to use that in video. He's a technician by trade that if you put him into a box, he's going to do more tech stuff than sales stuff. Jonathan will also be the first person to tell you that he gets nervous as all get out with people. That's where he was in the beginning, right? And Jonathan, I'm not speaking, hopefully I'm not saying anything that doesn't. But then you look at a post that Jonathan Wilson does or a video of what Jonathan Wilson does, and you immediately go, oh my God, I can't. And then you start reading it, and then you see something, then your eyes start crossing, and then you're like, dude, I don't even know what's going on. Like, this is what you do when you see somebody with that kind of talent for that right now is you go, dude, that's awesome. But you know what the coaching for Jonathan Wilson is? Don't get too tied into technology, man. He does some of that because out of resistance on talking to people. I'm just shooting you straight. I'm talking behind Jonathan's back in front of his back right now, if you don't realize that. Okay, he does some of that stuff. He'll get lost. So when he's thinking about like Wednesdays or like Tuesdays calling people, then an app will come up and he'll be on a website and he'll go, dude, I could go get that app and I could go get that. And then I could do this and I could do this. And he'll feel totally productive at the end of the day when he's figured out a little nuance on a video. That's going to hold him back long term. So part of the coaching for him is stop it on all the technology, dude. It is. It's some of that, right? Or eventually, then, you can hire somebody or you could be a technology person right now. But this is not a technology system. It's not. It's a people system. And you just being yourself, Aubrey, on social is literally lights out.
Okay.
You are lights out on it. You are one of the kindest, funniest, caring people that we have by a long shot. And that's what you want to come out. So one video that's choppy and up and down with bad audio with you smiling and showing that you're caring is far superior to the most best produced video that's ever been out there. Because the only thing that anybody's ever looking at is they're looking at, so what? Like, what's the feel? What kind of feeling do I get when I see an Aubrey video, an Aubrey post? That's what it is. That's the upper level marketing is where you understand that you're creating a feeling in other people. So what is that feeling? The feeling that you create in everybody is amazing. You don't need to know anything more. You don't need to do anything more. You just need to be consistent with it and be out there and not let that get in your head at all.
It's like Shira knows, like my Wednesday is my best day. I like that. That day is no problem for me. Thursdays is like this resistance like no other. And it's knowing, yeah, that I've got to either post something or do a video or, yeah.
It's so good for you though, just to do it. That's why I write a template all the time to hopefully give you guys like not something loose. If you're between things, just copy and paste it. I know like that might not be your voice and you go, dude, I don't even talk like that. Why you blah, 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 blah. I get it. But the point is just, it's the doing it. It's the feeling. I can tell you that the posts that I write, the only thing I'm doing at is like, what's the feeling that I'm creating in the other person? Like the one this week, I'm like, oh, you know what this week does? It gets a feeling that Deryck, at least if I was in the business, that Deryck's an expert and he's on it and he cares. Like he's going, oh, we just had a national election. What does that mean for you from a financial standpoint? Right? Like he's caring about me. That's the feeling that they get right now. So whenever I do anything, I reverse engineer everything. I'm like, what do I want the market to feel? What do I want my network to feel? Okay, they're exactly what I was talking to Seth about right now. They're all fired up, man. Their team either won or they lost. And if they won, they're gloating. And if they lost, they're freaking crying about it and making stuff up. Like, let's get them back focused in on like, wait, hold on. That was this. We've got Deryck out there that's not political and just saying, hey, this is what happened. This is what it means to your pocketbook. Let's keep going. So you're branding yourself. Over time, what psychologists and marketers will tell you is once you get past 7, people have, there's an opinion that they formed of you. And that's why I take a lead on this, because I'm like, I spend a lot of time making sure that the opinion that your network forms of you is very favorable, that it shows your competence, it shows your character, and it shows your likability. So you don't have to go too far off of that, because it's a branding thing that you guys are doing. It's a long-term play. It's, in the old days, if you guys are my age, right, like they'd have the billboards up and the pictures of the faces on the bus seats, and in my neighborhood they have that on the shopping carts, right? Like now we get to do that on social for free without paying $1 gazillion. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And so I don't like Aubrey, look, I give you so much credit for saying that, because a lot of people feel that. A lot feel that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's definitely, as I say, it's definitely, it's not something that to let yourself hold it up. It's really, it should be one of the quickest ones. It's like it's just do. And then with the resistance, what you're doing right now, then that's where all of you guys, if you guys have any resistance around Thursday, that's a great opportunity. What Aubrey's doing, just to look at your own self and say, wait, why am I have all this resistance? What is that? How can I improve? That's a great, like what I was talking to Christy about. That's a great after hours conversation to go, why do I have so much resistance? I'm like, oh. Okay, cool. That's where I can improve, because if you can just get into action and doing that stuff and getting out of that, and this is really hard, right? Because a lot of people, not any of us, we don't evolve past high school. So high school, we have, like, what does everybody think of me, right? Right? We get into our adult world and we haven't evolved past that. And one of the evolutions past high school is most people aren't thinking about you. Almost everybody is not thinking about you. And B, what somebody thinks about you is legit their stuff. And C, if anybody thinks anything negative about you, that's only a reflection on them. That takes work and time. But once you get that, right, that it's, if they come up with a negative, the haters and all that, like, they're really struggling, man. And you know what they're really saying? They're really saying, like, God, I should be doing that. Well, I can't tell you how many people called me that were in like my peers when I decided to be a coach, and we're like, what makes you think that you can be a coach? I did more volume than you do. And I'm like, dude, then go be a coach, right? I'm not special. I'm just going to do it. Yeah, but you had it. I'm like, go do it, whatever. So I want you guys, your dreams and your vision way bigger than this stuff. So that's the work that you get to do, Aubrey, right? Like that's the stuff that you get to do. And it goes for everybody. Is you get to overcome this stuff. Like it is an amazing thing to get to overcome. Hey, thanks for being vulnerable to that. Would that help too? A lot of people feel like that, Aubrey, like a lot.
Analysis by paralysis, just not, but yeah.
And man, I'll tell you this, there's just so much power in the doing right now. This is how I can describe it, is like you're tired and you don't want to do it and you do it and you get way more energy. But if you don't do it, then you remain tired and not in energy. Like you get energy from the doing. It's fascinating. And all you have to do is just one at a time. Just one at a time, do it. And then you'll get a momentum in there. A lot of times everybody gets like, I got to do one post every week for the rest of my life. And it's too much. Or I've got to do this. There's so many things that overwhelm us. Just get into action one at a time. The momentum will take over. You don't need to do more than one. You'll do one. And then you'll be like, well, that was pretty sweet. And then you'll do another. But for right now, it's just, let me do one. And do it till it's complete. Seth said, the floss video is, yeah, Jonathan Wilson's just super talented at that. Let's just put it at that. Jonathan Wilson's super talented at that. But I am still going to always be his coach, and I'm going to go, dude, but I want you doing loans because that's how your kids eat. So that's my agreement with you, Jonathan Wilson. Is that fair, Jonathan? All right, cool. We're at 103. I see some people being like, dude, we're going over right now. Is there anybody else right now? I do want to create a space if anybody else has anything right now. I do feel like we got to touch on some systems. I feel like we got to shake some things loose on any mindset. Is there anybody else right now that's going, man, I'm stuck. I'm stuck on something, dude. That was awesome, Aubrey. Thank you for that. Being vulnerable like that. Anybody else? Awesome. Guys, we're at an hour. Keep going. As I said, I love this time right now. This is where you get to earn. This is where you get to earn the money that you make. You guys make a lot of money, right? You make a lot of money compared to the rest of the country. Even in these down times, remember, you guys are making a lot of money, more than a lot of people are. So keep that in your forefront. This is where we get to earn our money. This, again, it'll be about somewhere between a 9 and 18 month period. I don't know exactly. But then that's where it gets after that period. That's where you get like, ooh, now I'm making a lot of money. So this is the time for you guys right now. This is where you earn it. So let's do it together. Thanks for supporting everybody. You guys have an awesome day, and I will talk to you soon.